All right, so today we started chapter 5, and chapter 5 is going to be all about percentages. So the first thing that we wanted to make sure everyone could do with our percents is make the connection with percents, fractions, and decimals. Okay? Now again, it doesn't matter which one is which. All right, but basically if we're given one, we should be able to find the other two. All right, regardless of where they start, we should be able to find the other two. So we're going to practice that here in the beginning. Remember the definition you guys gave me in class, percents are out of 100. All right, out of 100, so it leads itself right to its fraction basically. Okay, so if we're given 9 out of 15, all right, we got to be able to come up with a decimal and a percent. Those are the other two. Okay. So again, you might be thinking, all right, this is 9 divided by 15. Okay, if we got a calculator, we can just type 9 divided by 15 into the calculator. I do not. So we got to add a 0. 6 actually works out quite nicely. So our decimal would be 0.6. And then we've got our decimal, we've got our fraction. So now we need the percent form. Percents are out of 100. So if we want to convert this into a percentage, multiply by 100, and we end up with 60%. So those are the two missing terms. All right, we're given a percent. Okay. Percents are out of 100, so 212 out of 100. We got our fraction. I'm going to simplify. 106 over 50, 53 over 25. We could get two 25s. So that would be... We can get two 25s, and we got 3 left over. So we got 2 and 3 25ths. So now we've got our percent, we've got our fraction. Now we need to get a decimal. So actually we can pick any of these if you wanted to. We know that it's going to be 2 point something. We got a whole number of 2. So 3 divided by 25, one time, 25 goes into 50 twice, so we get a 2.12. Okay, again, long division is not necessary. If you got a calculator, you can do that on your calculator just as quick. All right. And last but not least, what if we're started with a decimal? So we have 1.28. We would read that as 1 and 28 hundredths because we're in the hundredths place. So that's 1 and 14 fifties, which is 1 and 7 25ths. So there is our mixed number or fraction. Multiply by 100, 128%. Okay, so those are the three forms. Regardless of where we start, those three values need to be interchangeable. Okay, then the last thing we need to look at here then, we introduce some very entry-level percent problems. Okay, so for example, what's 19% of 250? Okay, 19% of 250. So we came up with a couple options today. All right, context clue here is of, that means multiply. So we can do 19% times 250 or 0.19 times 250. Okay, so that's just rewriting our percentage as a decimal. Remember the calculator of the future here that we're going to have. We're not going to have a percent button. So we can't just type in 19%. We got to know 0.19. So we got to make that conversion there. So 0.19 times 250. That's one option. The other option that we talked about, 19% is 19 out of 100. We do have a ratio here. Okay. We go back one chapter. We spent a lot of time working on ratios. 19 out of 100 and 250. Okay, we can actually build ourselves a proportion. All right, proportions are going to play a big role for us in this chapter, so feel free to use proportions tonight on these problems, or we can follow this technique back here. Whichever one, I will leave the multiplication to you to multiply through and get those answers. But those are the two topics for this evening: percents, fractions, decimals, and very simple entry-level percent problems. As always, any questions, bring them to class tomorrow. Have a good night.